Now to the ICF, the International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health, from 2001. Now is a resume of the paper from Yaruss and Quesal, 2003. First I begin with the comparison between the ICF and the ICIDH. The similarities between ICIDH and ICF. First, the ICF and ICIDH frameworks provide a unified and standard language and framework for discussing health-related experiences. Secondly, the ICF and ICIDH describes health experiences at multiple levels representing a person's abilities and experiences. Third, the ICF and ICIDH describes the relationship between various aspects of a person's health experiences. 4. The ICF and ICIDH are not addressing the etiology of health problems. Both the ICIDH and the ICF are presented as a complementary to the WHO's etiological classification system, the International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, 10th revision from 1992. Thus, ICD-10 provides a diagnosis of diseases, disorders, or health conditions, and this information is enriched by the additional information given by ICF on functioning. Now, there are differences between the ICIDH and ICF. First, the goal of ICF is to describe the health and health-related experiences of all people. The ICF seeks to classify all of the components of health, not only the consequences of diseases. The ICF addresses both the negative impact of health conditions as well as the positive aspects of health. 2. There are major changes in structure of the classification in ICF. The ICF describes the components of health in two parts: A. Functioning and disability, and B. Contextual factors. Each of these sections is further separated into two components describing different aspects of health and health-related experiences. First, body function and structures. Secondly, activities and participation. Now to the ICF and stuttering, from Yaruss. It's appropriate to consider how the new framework affects the description of the stuttering disorder. Because the ICF focuses on both functioning and disability rather than just on disability component, it is now possible to describe both fluency and stuttering, as well as other positive and negative aspects of the speaker's experiences of fluent and disfluent speech. And now to the updating of the Yaruss framework from 1998. And we have to recognize here that the WASES is based on the ICIDH, or the original Yaruss framework. The model shows that in ICF the list of activities and participations is combined. There is no longer any distinction between disability, and that is difficulties performing tasks, and handicap, the disadvantages experienced in the ability to achieve life goals. Moreover, it shows that reactions to stuttering can affect the impairment in body function itself. The ICF is a useful framework for describing the stuttering disorder, as well as development of new assessment instruments for evaluating treatment outcomes at a variety of levels with direct relevance to the life of the person who stutters. To the discussion part, Margaret Lee presents thoughts of ICF as a concept or tool to emphasize the sociological aspects of stuttering, with a focus on the ability and functioning of the person, and it is currently fostering changes in perspectives for working with those who stutter. Lee emphasizes this contrast between the sociological model of disability and the impairment model derived from the traditional medical approach, in which the disability and functional limitations created by it are the focus of attention. Lee praised the changing perspectives in stuttering derived from the early 1970s, showing greater emphasis on psychological elements of the stuttering problem and its management. In a previous report from 2001, Wästlund presents at the time the current ICIDH and a suggestion for its application to stuttering, similar to the Yaruss approach. This report describes the dilemma of different paradigms of stuttering, at the long-term battle between problem-oriented stuttering therapists, the construct theories, sociology, and fluency-oriented speech pathologists, medical-oriented neuropsychology, and its consequences for people who stutter. Wästlund favors more mixed approaches to the view of stuttering and as etiology of neurophysiological mechanisms that cause both the stuttering behavior and problems associated with stuttering. The approach of intervention suggested is a mixed approach with a combination of increase of fluency through precision fluency shaping or smooth speech, and problem-solving strategies through cognitive behavior-oriented therapy. We discussed further in this group that for the level of research we have to have possible to discuss, and I hope that you don't find this so far too contradictory. Now to the conclusions that I have drawn here, making those studies, is firstly that the ICF is not a theory of itself, but a way to classify the different components of health factors which can be associated with a certain disorder or be in common with other disorders or health factors in general. The ICF provides the opportunity for a comparison of stuttering with other disorders affecting communication in different ways, for instance similarities with dysarthrias or voice disorders. And thirdly, what I found here making those studies is that the all-inclusive Yaruss approach to stuttering within the framework of ICF, with its general overview of all aspects of stuttering as equally important, the body functions as well as personal factors and environmental factors and their effect to the people who stutter, degree of activity and participation. This provides an important step forward for solving the paradigm difficulties between learning-oriented traditionalists, the stuttering modification, and Euro-oriented fluency shapers. And fourth, however, the one and only sociological approach to stuttering, the construct theory suggested by Leahy, is regarded as counterproductive as it serves as maintaining the persisting paradigmatic difficulties within the speech-language pathology profession. Efforts should be made to use ICF together with the ICID-10 for a mutual understanding of the stuttering disorder together with an evidence-based view of stuttering as a neuro-based disorder that affects body functions and have an individually experienced impact of quality of life, such as personal factors, environmental factors, activity, and participation.